Happy All Saints Day to everyone. I was thinking, with all the saints, and we've been celebrating this solemnity since the 4th century as church, all the saints, how do you preach about them? And I decided this year I'm just going to showcase one saint. It's St. Paul Miki. Maybe you know about him, maybe you don't. He's in the orange, couple over from St. John Paul the Great. St. Paul Miki, Japanese, born in the 1500s, baptized when he was 5. He was trained by the Jesuits. He was a very sharp young man. A lot of the missionaries that had come to Japan were from the Philippines, but he was Japanese born and raised. And he joined the Jesuits when he was 20, and he was just probably 2 years away from being ordained a priest when he was martyred. So in that time, in the 1500s, the Emperor of Japan felt this threat. So he saw the missionaries come to the Philippines, and then eventually the Philippines became part of the Spanish conquest. And he thought, certainly the same thing is going to happen here in Japan. So he expelled the Christians, and some left, others stayed, taught clandestinely, and Paul Miki and others were those that stayed. He was eventually caught, and he and his companions were made to march 600 miles from Kyoto to Nagasaki for their death. And they sang what's called the Te Deum, which is a hymn that's very old in the Catholic Church. It's still part of our liturgy of the hours, especially when we have a Sunday or a solemnity. The Te Deum is recited in English, but it's originally in Latin. And on that way to their crucifixion, those 25 along with Paul Miki and companions sang that hymn. Then they were placed on crosses, and they were strapped, and some, I guess, were not nailed. And Paul Miki chose to preach from the cross. He preached and he says, the only thing I'm guilty of is proclaiming Jesus Christ. And he says, I am, unlike some of these others, I am Japanese. So I am one of you that's being put to death, but I imitate the Lord Jesus Christ on the cross, and I forgive those who have crucified me. I forgive those who have condemned me. I hold nothing against you. And he died on the cross. They speared them with lances. So 26 of them in total died with Paul Miki. So today we think about that as we ponder this great cloud of witnesses that we hear about in the first reading. And we have our wonderful reliquarium chapel to remember the saints and to remember that we're following in their footsteps. Maybe our life is different than St. Paul Miki's. Maybe it's similar to another saint. We remember our birth saints today. And if you don't know who your birth saint is, you can look it up, because every single day has a saint associated with it. They're not always in the sanctoral cycle in the missal, but every single day has a saint associated with it. And these saints are patron saints of all kinds of things. So St. Paul Miki is the patron saint of Japan. And Padre Kino, he's the patron of Our Lady of Guadalupe is the patron saint of the Diocese of Phoenix, but Padre Kino is a patron of the message being brought to this part of the Southwest. So we remember too our confirmation saints. And maybe we're like, gosh, it's a long time ago, I forgot my confirmation saint. Try looking them up. Try and look and see. see how their lives maybe have some parallel to yours, or pray for their intercession so that you can be more like they are. So today we celebrate these saints with great joy. And again, we showcase just one, St. Paul Mickey.